This happened to me about a year ago during winter break. The reason I remember the exact time so clearly is because it was the night before New Year's Eve, and I had decided to stay in my college apartment instead of going back home. Most of my roommates had already left, and the building was unusually quiet. I didn't mind at first. I actually liked having the place to myself. That night, I was working late on my laptop while watching random videos to pass time. Around 11:30 p.m., I realized I hadn't eaten anything all day, so I decided to order food. The delivery app said it would take about 40 minutes. While I was waiting, I noticed something strange. I kept hearing a faint tapping sound coming from somewhere in the apartment. At first, I assumed it was just the heater or pipes, since the building was old. But the sound didn't stop. It wasn't random either. It was rhythmic. 3 taps. Pause. Then 3 taps again. I muted my laptop and just listened. The sound was definitely coming from inside the apartment, not from outside or another unit. That's when I remembered something my roommate once mentioned jokingly, that the maintenance access panel in the hallway closet connected to a shared crawl space between units. I laughed it off at the time, but now I couldn't stop thinking about it. The tapping suddenly stopped. I sat there for a moment, debating whether I was just being paranoid. Then, my phone buzzed. It was the delivery driver saying they had arrived. Relieved, I grabbed my keys and headed out quickly. I didn't even think about the noise anymore. When I came back with the food, everything felt normal again. No tapping, no weird sounds. I locked the door behind me, sat down, and started eating. About 10 minutes later, I heard it again. 3 taps. This time it was louder, and it was coming from the hallway closet. I slowly stood up and stared at the closet door. My heart was racing, but I kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe it really was just pipes or something expanding due to the cold. Then I heard something else. A soft dragging sound, like something shifting inside the walls. I backed away and grabbed my phone. I considered calling someone, but I didn't even know what I would say. "Hey, I think something is tapping inside my wall." Before I could decide, the closet door handle slowly moved. I froze. The handle didn't turn all the way, just slightly, like someone on the other side was testing it. I didn't wait any longer. I grabbed my jacket and ran out of the apartment, leaving everything behind. I ended up sitting in my car for almost an hour before calling building security. When they came and checked, they told me everything looked normal. They even opened the closet and inspected the panel. Nothing was inside. But as I was explaining what happened, one of the guards paused and asked me a question I still think about. He asked, "Are you sure that panel was closed when you got home?" Because when they checked it, it was slightly open. This happened a few months ago when I stayed overnight at a coworker's house. For privacy, I'll call her Lisa. We weren't extremely close, but we got along well enough that when she invited a few coworkers over for a small gathering, I agreed to go. Her house was about an hour outside the city in a quiet suburban area. Nothing unusual at first. The night went normally. Music, food, casual conversations. By midnight, most people had already left, and since I had a long drive back, Lisa offered to let me stay in her guest room. I accepted. The guest room was at the end of a narrow hallway. Across from it was another door that Lisa told me was just a storage room. She specifically mentioned it, which I thought was a bit odd, but I didn't question it. I went to sleep around 1:30 a.m. At some point in the night, I woke up suddenly. I didn't know why at first. The room was completely dark, and everything was quiet. Then I heard it, a soft creaking sound. I turned toward the hallway, and through the small gap under my door, I could see a faint light. It wasn't there before. Then I saw a shadow pass by. I assumed it was Lisa getting up for something, so I tried to ignore it and go back to sleep. But then the creaking started again. This time, it sounded like it was coming from the door directly across from my room, the storage room. I sat up, fully awake now. The sound continued. Slow, deliberate, like the door was being opened very carefully. I stared at my door, waiting to hear footsteps or something that would make sense of it, but there were no footsteps, just silence. Then slowly, my doorknob began to turn. I held my breath. The door opened just a few inches, enough for me to see into the hallway. No one was there, but the storage room door across from me was now fully open, and it was completely dark inside. I didn't move. I didn't say anything. I just watched. After a few seconds, the hallway light turned off. Not dimmed. Not flickered. Just instantly off. The door to my room slowly closed on its own. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. As soon as it was morning, I left. Lisa was already awake in the kitchen like nothing had happened. When I asked her casually if she got up during the night, she just looked at me and said no. Then I mentioned the storage room. Her expression changed immediately. She told me she keeps that door locked, and she asked me something that made my stomach drop. She said, "Did you open it?" I told her I didn't even touch it. She didn't say anything after that. But as I was leaving, I noticed something. There was a lock on that storage room door, and it was on the outside.